Welcome back to Cosmic Comics. I thought this episode was going to be about Quasar and the Serpent Crown, and it's coming, but I forgot about another moment in the history of Set and the Serpent Crown. As this ties in directly with the events that take place at Project Pegasus, I thought it best to cover this story first. This arc takes place in Marvel Team-Up Volume 1, Issues 111 and 112, but I'm only going to be looking at issue number 111 in this episode. Before I can dive into the issue, I have to discuss Ohm, the Unspeakable. We learn in Thor and Hercules, the Encyclopedia Mythologica, under the entry of Gaia, that sometime after the Cretaceous period, Gaia, along with Demiurge, who is her father, and or Adam, who is her son, produced the next generation of Earth's gods. Amongst her earliest spawn was a very unheard of, nary mentioned spider god named Ohm, who happens to be the father of the spider people. What? Say what? This makes Ohm one of the earliest and oldest of the Earth gods, and one of the few, and only one that I can think of off the top of my head, of the Earth gods that we know of to give birth to its own race of human-like creatures. That being said, I think he has less than half a dozen appearances throughout the Marvel Universe. In fact, the only two comics I know of where Ohm plays a direct role in are The Savage Sword of Conan Volume 1, Issue 197, and Conan the Barbarian Volume 1, Issue number 13. And yes, one of those issues does have some titty on the cover of it. In one, Conan defeats a living idol of Ohm, and in the other, Conan scores a victory against Ohm itself. Now, continuing with Marvel Team-Up. This story starts out as twisted as a corkscrew. Spider-Man is tracking down some street-level thugs when all of a sudden his sense of reality gives way. Spider-Man is then confronted by a nightmare scenario. His Uncle Ben is telling him that Peter Parker is dead, and he would have fallen for it, hook, line, and sinker, if not for the Devil Slayer showing up and then killing Uncle Ben in front of Spider-Man. Oh my goodness. Oh my. Let the horror of that singular moment sink in on you for a second, okay? We then find out that the heavenly figures were actually Serpent-Men. Yes, the very same Serpent-Men we were told that Kull the Conqueror finished off once and for all. Once Spider-Man sees that he's been duped, he joins in with the Devil Slayer on punching their way through the heavenly host. After the Serpents retreat, Devil Slayer introduces Spider-Man to the magic words that reveal the illusions of any serpent. Remember these from back in the age of Conan? Once Devil Slayer knows Spider-Man is not a serpent in disguise, he reveals that Kull must have missed a few Serpent-Men because the cult continued to exist to the modern day, and then started luring humans into their ranks, and now they're ready to make their move to conquer the world once more. Then we're given some freaky info. Buried in the soul of every man is the ingrained racial memory of humanity's war with the serpent race. Say what? That's some pretty heavy stuff. We're told that the Serpent-Men never truly die. That's unfortunate. Instead, their spirits are swept off to a limbo dimension where they wait for a foretold age whereby an age of heroes would open the doorway from the limbo realm back to Earth 616. Upon returning, the serpent spirits would claim new living host, but first, 7 warriors with the power to conquer the world would be possessed first. One of those 7 would be a living spider, or so says Devil Slayer. And then we learn how bad things really are, and it's bad. We learn that all of the other defenders have been captured. Doctor Strange and Clea were the first to fall. Then they took down the Hulk. The Snake Men took down the Hulk. Somehow they captured the Submariner as well. Not only that, but they took him down underwater. Snake Men took the Submariner down underwater. I don't know how it happened. Valkyrie and Gargoyle get taken down as well, but what else did you expect after seeing that list of heavy hitters go down? And on top of that, As far as I know, this story is recounted nowhere else in the pages of Marvel. If you know where this is at and what it actually tells what happened in these events, please give me an issue number. I'd love to look at it, seriously. Devil Slayer takes Spider-Man to Japan, where we learn the reason for the journey. There is a temple that is older than time, that holds a bejeweled snakehead statue, which has the power to finally destroy the serpent cult once and for all. The one person they meet after arriving happens to speak English. It's the first thing Devil Slayer asks upon seeing him. It's just so odd. Traveling to a foreign country and then yelling, "You, old man, do you speak English?" at the very first person you see. After getting smacked around a little bit, the old man gives up the location of the Spider Temple. Upon arriving, Spider-Man is told that thousands of years ago, the Spider People and Serpent-Men waged a savage war. The Spider People must have won because several of them show up to attack. With the reveal of both Spider People and Serpent-Men both surviving to the modern day, it begs to question what other sort of demon races might have survived, or why Gaia was spawning gods that would give rise to demon races in the first place. We're informed that over time, the Spider People, for unknown reasons, de-evolved into near brainless creatures, despite their ancestors having been extremely intelligent. The heroes chase the Spider People off, and Devil Slayer goes a little overboard with his violence against the spiders. He appears visibly shaken when Spider-Man calls him off the dead body. This next part of the story drives me a little nuts. Oddly, Demon Slayer was capable of taking Spider-Man to his apartment earlier, but for some reason acts like he can't cross the chasm before the statue of the Spider God. He even goes as far as to say that he can't make the jump. He doesn't need to jump. He's got a magic cape. Or maybe I don't know enough about Demon Slayer or how his powers work. I feel like Peter should have picked up on this. Oh, and let's not ignore that awesome-looking statue of Ohm, am I right? Spider-Man crosses the chasm with ease. When at first he attempts to take the statue, Ohm's arms move in to stop him. Demon Slayer suggests standing still. Spider-Man stops. This works long enough for Spider-Man to reach out and grab the statue. He then makes a hasty retreat. Demon Slayer then uses his cape to take them back to New York. Really? Really? Now he can use his cape? What gives? Upon returning to New York, Spider-Man and the Demon Slayer prepare to face off against a horde of Serpent-Men, but are surprised to find the Defenders are waiting right around the corner for them. Doctor Strange explains that they escaped on their own and ended the menace of the serpent race forever. He then offers to take the statue in order to study its mystic properties. Thanks to some tingling spider senses, Spider-Man gets suspicious of the Defenders' story and their eagerness for the statue. That's when he decides to repeat the phrase he learned earlier in the day. Immediately, all of the Defenders, including the Devil Slayer, show their true forms. Snake Men, one and all. The entire illusion has collapsed, and the room is revealed. Once the illusion collapses, this raises a number of questions about what was really going on with Devil Slayer. If this wasn't the real Devil Slayer, and instead was a Snake Man, why was he capable of using Devil Slayer's cloak? It would explain why Devil Slayer didn't want to stand in front of the Spider God. It would also explain why Devil Slayer was smashing the Spider People with such utter vehemence there at the end of their fight. But this whole unmasking thing just doesn't really make a lot of sense. Moving on, Spider-Man goes on the offensive and realizes he's been snookered all along. Devil Slayer is the seventh warrior needed by the Serpent-Men to take over the world. The Serpent-Men had their warriors, but they needed somebody with spider blood to retrieve the statue. That's the reason why the statue didn't grab Spider-Man. It was because he carries spider blood within his veins. Spider-Man then makes perhaps the best move of this issue. He decides that if these guys want the statue so bad, then it's probably best to just get rid of it. So he takes it and smashes it on the ground. Awesome job. And, ew, there's some kind of liquid inside that hurts the snake people. Spider-Man is running out of webbing and there are plenty of snake men left. As they tackle him, note that Spider-Man gets bitten. He makes a last-ditch effort to save himself by making a ball of webbing, which he then uses to break the necromantic crystal that is holding the Defenders captive. With the Defenders free, a proper ass-kicking ensues. Serpent-Men are sent flying in every direction. Doctor Strange invokes an ancient spell that sends the remaining Serpent-Men to limbo, but the human members remain. Spider-Man stops an assassination attempt. He's thanked by the Defenders, but his joy is short-lived as he collapses to the ground. Spider-Man later wakes up in Doctor Strange's manor, where he's informed that the all-seeing eye of Agamotto was used to look at his wounds, and if not treated, Spider-Man will die before the end of the day. Whew. This issue introduced a couple of new elements into the Saga of the Serpent Crown. First, it introduced Ohm and his spider people who are caught in an ancient war with the Serpent-Men. Secondly, we're introduced to the snake-headed statue. It would be interesting to know the origins of the snake-headed statue and how it came to be in possession of the spider people. Thirdly, we're told that the Serpent-Men don't die in a traditional sense, but their spirits are instead transported to Limbo, where they await their opportunity to return to Earth. This leaves them in a similar state to that of their master Set, who is stuck outside of this reality and powerless to return without the help of others. Finally, it's important to remember that Spider-Man now knows the secret phrase needed to dispel the Serpent-Men's illusions. Next episode, I'll take a look at what Spider-Man has to do to cure himself of the serpent's bite. Feel free to hit any of the buttons below. I'm out.